12th standard, subject physics, second chapter, mechanical properties of fluids. From this, Bernoulli's equation, to obtain Bernoulli's equation, let us consider the flow of an ideal fluid through this pipe with varying cross sections. That is, cross sectional area will change point to point along the length of this pipe. So let A1, A2 be the areas of cross sections, A1 and A2 be the areas of cross sections at the lower end P and the upper end R. Then P1, P2 be the pressures of the fluid. So P1 will be the pressure at this lower end P and P2 will be the pressure at this upper end R. Let D1 and D2 be the distances traveled by the fluid. So let D1 and D2 be the distances traveled by the fluid at the lower end P and at the upper end R. So these are the displacements of the fluid at lower end P and the upper end R. V1 and V2 be the velocities of the fluid in time interval dt. So in short interval of time dt, let V1 be the speed or velocity of that fluid at the lower end and V2 be the speed of that fluid at the upper end R. Then P1 A1 and P2 A2 be the forces acting on the surrounding fluid. So these P1 A1 and P2 A2 be the pressures. So P1 A1 and P2 A2, these are the pressures acting at the lower end P and the upper end R by the surrounding fluid. So here P1A1 and P2A2 will represent forces because pressure is defined as force per unit area and therefore force will be equal to pressure into area, that is PA. Similarly, let H1 be the height of lower end P and H2 be the height of the upper end R from this horizontal, which is considered as the reference line. Then the volume dV of the fluid passing through any cross section, that is through A1 as well as A2, it is the same, and that is dV will be equal to A1 D1 equal to A2 D2. Here volume is equal to A1 D1 equal to A2 D2 is written because the volume of this cylindrical small element of the pipe will be considered, and we know that for cylinder the volume will be equal to area of cross section into the length of that cylinder, that is area of cross section into displacement, and therefore dV is equal to A1 D1 equal to A2 D2. Now as the fluid is ideal, that flow of fluid is ideal, therefore there is no any internal friction as well as the viscous force will be again absent, and therefore as the fluid is ideal, there is no internal friction as well as the viscous force exerted by that fluid is negligible. Therefore work is done by the surrounding pressure, that work will be done by the surrounding pressure on the element of that fluid during the flow from lower end P to the upper end R, and that work done dW or W will be equal to P1 A1 D1 minus P2 A2 D2. Here work done is nothing but the force into displacement. So P1 A1 will represent force and D1 is the displacement. Similarly, P2 A2 will represent the force and D2 is the displacement, and therefore the first P1 A1 D1, that work done is positive and second term is negative because the force P2 A2 is oppositely directed to that of flow of liquid, and therefore W is equal to P1 dV minus P2 dV. Here we have considered dV in place of A1 D1 as well as A2 D2, and therefore that W will be equal to P1 minus P2 into dV. By taking dV common, that will be the equation 1. Now the work done is equal to the change in the total mechanical energy. The work done is nothing but it is the change in total mechanical energy, that is the sum of kinetic energy and gravitational potential energy, sum of kinetic energy and gravitational potential energy, and therefore we can write W is equal to delta Ke, that is change in kinetic energy, plus delta Pe, that is change in potential energy. Hence, at the beginning of time interval dt, the mass and the kinetic energy of the fluid, between P and Q, that is at the lower end, are rho A1 D1 and half rho into A1 D1 Phi1 square. Now in this case, mass is rho A1 D1, where rho will be the density of that fluid and A1 D1 represents volume. Therefore density into volume, we will get mass. Similarly, for kinetic energy, expression is half mv square, and therefore half rho into A1 D1. So rho into A1 D1, that will be the mass, into velocity square, that is Phi1 square. Now at the end of the time interval dt, the change in kinetic energy of the fluid, at the end of the time interval dt, the change in kinetic energy of the fluid between the upper ends R and S is equal to half rho into A2 D2 V2 square, and therefore the net change in kinetic energy during time interval dt will be equal to the subtraction of these two kinetic energies, that is delta Ke equal to half rho into A2 D2 Phi2 square minus half rho into A1 D1 Phi1 square. Now in this case, the change in kinetic energy is calculated as final kinetic energy, that is at the upper end, minus initial kinetic energy, that is at the lower end, and therefore delta Ke will be equal to half rho dV into V2 square minus half rho dV into Phi1 square. In this equation, A2 D2 and A1 D1 are replaced by dV, and therefore change in kinetic energy delta Ke equal to half rho dV into V2 square minus Phi1 square, equation number 2. Now the gravitational potential energy at the beginning of the time interval dt for mass m will be equal to rho d1 g H1. Now potential energy is given as mgh, and therefore rho into dV will represent here mass, that is volume into density, and gh1 as it is. Similarly, at the end of the time interval dt, it is rho dV gh2. Then the net change in the gravitational potential energy, delta P is the subtraction of these two, again final potential energy minus initial potential energy, that is equal to rho dV gh2 minus rho dV gh1. So that delta P will be equal to rho dV g into h2 minus h1, equation number 3. Now from equations 1, 2 and 3, the mechanical energy is given as W equal to delta Ke plus delta Pe, and therefore from equation 1, W is nothing but P1 minus P2 into dV, and therefore P1 minus P2 dV equal to half rho dV into V2 square minus V1 square plus rho dVg into V2 minus, that is H2 minus H1. So in this case, delta Ke is half rho dV into V2 square minus V1 square, and delta Pe is rho dVg into H2 minus H1. Therefore, dividing whole equation by dV, we will get P1 minus P2 equal to half rho into V2 square minus V1 square plus rho g into H2 minus H1, equation number 4. And this equation is nothing but the Bernoulli's equation. And so from this equation, Bernoulli's principle can be stated as the work done per unit volume of a fluid by the surrounding fluid is equal to the sum of the changes in kinetic as well as potential energies per unit volume which occurs during the flow. So Bernoulli's principle will be again revised. It states that the work done per unit volume of a fluid by the surrounding fluid is equal to the sum of the changes in kinetic and potential energies per unit volume that occurs during the flow of that fluid. So this Bernoulli's equation can also be written in another form. This equation is again written as P1 plus half rho V1 square plus rho g H1 equal to P2 plus half rho V2 square plus rho g H2. Now this equation is obtained from the above equation, that is P1 and P2 will get separated. These two terms will get again separated for V2 and V1 and H2 and H1. So if you separate these terms for the lower end and the upper end, then on the left side for lower end all the terms will be taken, on right side remaining terms will be taken, so that we will get that equation. So in general, here we can write P plus half rho V square plus rho g H equal to constant. That is, in other words, that statement will be given as the sum of pressure energy per unit volume and kinetic energy per unit volume and potential energy per unit volume remains constant.